Back here at Garbanzo's Amateur Sports TV Sports Show. Joining me is Keith Omoerah. No relation to Mark Omoerah, but Keith Omoerah, I have to say, a fantastic. Thank you for joining us here on the show, number one. And number two, I mean, you have been one of the stalwarts here in men's basketball, university basketball, now taking your next step into Norway and now Ukraine. How was basketball first introduced into your life, and how did you take to it so well?
You know what? I didn't grow up kind of playing basketball. I mean, we're in Canada. I mean, like every other kid, I played hockey a little bit growing up, never on a team, but that was kind of my first sport that I took on. From there, it was lacrosse, but in my early years in elementary, grade 5 or 6, or my later years in elementary, grade 5 or 6, I picked up the ball and absolutely fell in love. I haven't put it down since, so yeah, I don't know what the connection was, but it was simple, it was easy. All you need is a ball and a hoop, and if you have that pretty much, you're good to go.
Shoes were kind of a choice whether or not you wanted to wear them or not. More winter boots in the wintertime?
Yeah, more winter boots in the wintertime, yeah, absolutely.
Right on. So, playing basketball at a young age, what were some of the skills you were first able to learn that came to you quickly?
I was always a pretty good athlete growing up, so kind of running up and down the floor with the ball was probably my go-to at a young age, but I think I was slow developing a little bit. So in grade 8, you know, it's kind of when you want to have the left-handed layup down, I would suppose, but I was late to the party on that, so I thought I was pretty good in my mind, but everyone else in practice could do a left-handed layup, but I couldn't. But luckily I pieced it together a little bit.
Did you play a lot of horse growing up?
Absolutely.
What was your go-to shot in horse?
When I was a kid, it was around the back and in the hoop. It was, you know, few and far between, 1 out of 50, but when I did hit it, it was like I did it every time.
Mine was the left-handed shot, right leg up, backward and in swish. Because I was left-handed. So when you talk about the left-handed layup in grade 8,
yeah,
that was my shot.
That was your go-to.
Right-handed layups? No, I try to teach my son. It doesn't work like that. So we'll go back to you. University ball. How did those years begin to develop begin for you? And then, you know, how did you begin to get really good at what you did?
Well, there was kind of no shortage of hard work, really. My early years, so I stayed at the University of Manitoba, which was a fantastic decision for me. I played under Kirby Shep, who is he has done work with the national team and coaches the junior national team here in Canada. And we just have a great coaching staff over there, really. They kind of encouraged me. They saw something in me that I didn't see myself, so they pushed me every day. I responded to it, and because of, you know, thankfully for them and our work together, I was able to piece it together and have a pretty good career as a Bison, and now I'm lucky enough to play professionally.
That's fantastic news. So, real quick with the Bisons, what was the one team you feared playing in ball? What was the one team you didn't like playing? Just either bad luck with them, or it just didn't work out, or you just were like, oh, we really got to play these guys again, or it's a test?
There wasn't one team I was afraid to play. The guys we had, we were a great group, and we were eager to play everyone. But one team that we weren't great at beating, I don't think we ever beat them. We never swept Brandon at Brandon in my time there, and I don't think we have done it since Kirby Shep kind of took the helm. It's just a hard place to win. You win the first night, and for whatever reason it would be, I'm not going to blame the refs, of course not, but it's hard to get a sweep there. It's just hard.
So we talk about Kirby real quick. What does he bring to the table as a coach? And you talk about junior national coach, and then working with the senior men's team. What does he bring to the table as a coach that you really draw to, you know, liking what he does?
You know, Kirby is probably one of the greatest basketball mind I've ever come across in my life. His X and O's of the game, the way he understands the game, it's kind of next to none. So to be under that, coaching for 4 years at the U of M and be able to pick his brain has been a blessing for me.
Right on. So now you've taken your game overseas. Last year, playing in Norway.
Yes.
How exciting was that, knowing that you were playing professional ball and of all places, Norway?
How
did you come about it?
It was super exciting. So for me, that was kind of always the goal, playing professionally. Coming out of Canada, it's kind of hard to find a job playing professionally. In overseas in Europe, they, you know, NCAA Division I kind of holds higher ground over Canada more times than not. So it was hard coming out, but I was able to get there, and I had a great experience. And because I played with Kirby, he kind of told me what the life was going to be like, told me what to expect. So the transition for me was pretty easy, and I had a pretty good first year. Yeah.
Right on. Well, absolutely. I mean, it's a couple of weeks where you were Player of the Week. Your team really respected how well you played, and I mean, you talk about the Division One NCAA versus Canada West and CIS, but U Sports ball, very different games. This past year, you're at the Ukrainian League. How was that different for you playing from Norway and then going to Ukraine to play ball there?
So this year the league was it was a stronger league this year. Norway was kind of a step in the right direction, so I proved myself there. So this year in Ukraine, it was a much better league, much better competition, and they were more basketball based. Norway, it was kind of, they love their skiing, they love their winter sports. That's why they were so good at the Olympics for it. But Ukraine was basketball heavy, and the competition there was great. You had some difficulties, like there was only one other guy that spoke fluent English on my team. The coach didn't speak English, so that was kind of difficult. But I spoke the language of basketball, and so did they. So we made it work.
Excellent. So let's bring it back to Winnipeg now. You're here in Winnipeg for some very good news that was mentioned last show with Adam. Talk about how exciting it's going to be to play Team Canada and your Team Nigeria in August. I mean, that's going to be a pretty big spectacle for you coming in August.
Yeah, well, it's not like official. It's not set in stone. I'm on the team, so there's going to be a tryout process for that. But just the fact that it's happening alone it's kind of unbelievable. I'm hoping, and I'm going to put all the work in that I can to prepare for that, to be on that roster, because I've said it to my friends, to be there and play against Team Canada for Team Nigeria in our backyard, it's kind of the most full circle thing for me in kind of my basketball world. So if I get that opportunity, I'm going to make sure I take full advantage of it.
So you're obviously training. What's your training regimen like leading up into these tryouts?
Right now, I just got back, so I'm taking a week or two off. But after the time off, after I eat all the good food that I can, I'm going to be going twice a day. So workouts in the morning, with a little bit of skill work, then come back at night and strictly shooting. So 6 times a week and rinse and repeat.
Rinse and repeat. So got to ask you real quick, 10,000 things done once makes you a master at it. Do you think you've taken 10,000 free throws?
I know I have, but am I a master? No, and I would be a fool to think that, stop putting in the work would equal success.
Absolutely. It's a lot of hard work. I mean, talk about Jamal Murray shooting free throws countless hours, morning, noon, night, every season. I'm sure you've got some similar stories like that because you love the game so much. Emily Potter, we talked about going into the K-8 programs here in Winnipeg. Fantastic news that all the schools that are involved all sold out. Tell me what you're going to bring to these young classrooms in, getting them into the game of basketball, showing them something new, and maybe your story as well.
Yeah, hats off to Emily Potter and Adam Wedlake that kind of built this thing from the ground up, especially over there at Basketball in Manitoba. Congrats to them. Thank you for doing it. So she did it, and it took on really well. I think she did it for 4 months and reached over, tens of thousands of students. So that is amazing. So now I've kind of took the helm of it, and it's K-8, as you said. So I go there, I kind of share my story of basketball, what the game's done for me, kind of where it's taken me. And I just try to spread the good word of basketball and sports specifically. I think sport is an amazing vessel for our youth, from building muscles, communication skills, but for me, one of the coolest things is building friendships. So I encourage them, whether it's basketball, whether it's volleyball, or something positive and constructive, to kind of follow it wholeheartedly, nurture that, and watch it grow. Because for me, when I grew up, I was a kid playing basketball, and here I am, fortunate enough to be able to travel the world playing the game that I love.
When you think about it as a kid, all sport, including basketball, I played every sport growing up outside of wearing a tutu pretty much like yourself probably. So when you talk about sport, it brings competitiveness and brings friendships. What do you think as a student athlete in the collegiate level, what type of message would you deliver to the kids that are going into high school, and the importance of having a busy schedule and making sure it's scheduled properly so that you're not because you're staying out of trouble, but it's got a good focus for you to be in the classroom and on the court?
Yeah, I would just say first off, school comes first. So school first, and prioritize basketball or whatever sport you're around that, because You know, if you love the game, whatever that game it is that you might be playing, I feel that if you have a passion for it, you will have find the time to do it. So, but most importantly, school first, and then you will find the time. If you love to play the game, just you'll find the time for it.
Find the time. Did you find time last night to watch Kawhi's final shot last night?
Yes, I did, and it was amazing.
So tell me,
it was amazing.
Okay, do you think? I'm going to go off topic just a little bit because you're a basketball aficionado. What do you think about Toronto having the opportunity to sign him now that they're playing Milwaukee in the conference finals? Or do they have to win one more round?
I think Toronto would love to have him, but me personally, I don't think Kawhi's staying in Toronto. I think he's going to be up and gone next year, but while he's here, he's clearly giving it his all, and we'll take it for what it's worth.
No, you couldn't have said it better. Keith, thank you very much for joining me.
Absolutely.
Thank you for continuing the program with Emily Potter. My son had a chance to meet Emily when she came into his school, so he had a wonderful time, and he asked for basketballs every day. So thank you for what you're doing. Congratulations on where you're playing, and hopefully we get to see you August 9th wearing your national colors, taking on Team Canada. So
absolutely.
Thank you for joining us. We'll be right back. Hopefully we're going to talk about some rugby with two gentlemen from the Westman rugby program. They'll be joining us via Skype, so stay tuned, and we'll be right back with that. This is Theo here live at Garbanzo's Amateur Sports TV Sports Show.
If you take the first mortgage you're offered, a high interest rate could take your travel budget and send it packing. Before you choose a mortgage, take a second look. Get serious about your mortgage. Contact Caisse Financial Group today. If you take the biggest mortgage you can get, you might find your budget can't support other important costs, like buying furniture. Don't let your mortgage weigh you down. Get serious about your mortgage. Contact Caisse Financial.